'cause two can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
The fact that Pretty Little Liars only had one Christmas episode is insane to me. The fact that they only had 3 Halloween episodes is also insane. I posted a video in October talking about the Pretty Little Liars Halloween episodes if you're interested in seeing that. Not a lot of people saw it, and it was really, really fun. But I thought we would talk about the Christmas episode because why not? It is the holiday season, and I am going to have a video coming out talking solely about the Christmas Pretty Little Liars book. I focus on book content on my TikTok page if you're interested in that. I also have so many book-centric videos, Pretty Little Liars videos coming out on my channel soon in the new year, so stay tuned for that. But this is what we're talking about here, so leave your thoughts below. Any Pretty Little Liars thoughts you have, any topic, let me know. I want to hear all of it. Okay. Our Pretty Little Liars Christmas episode is season 5, episode 13. How the A Stole Christmas. I do like that title. I think it is very, very fun. We also deserved a Christmas episode so much earlier. And I saw a video posted by, what is her name? Lauren Daisy. Lauren Daisy, my fucking queen. I love Lauren Daisy. She did a video on the Never Ending November, which was so fun to watch. But this November just spanned so long, and we know the November ends when we get the Christmas episode. So something about the timeline in this particular season was a little bit crazy, and maybe even the season before that, I don't remember, but we don't really get too many wintry episodes in general. I feel like it's always September in the show. I don't know, it always feels like September to me. In my opinion, season 5 is totally different from the other few seasons, and this is probably a season that I'm not super familiar with. I've watched the first 3 countless times, but there's just something about season 5 that doesn't hit as well for me. We don't get the iconic soundtrack. Like, let's just think about the music that was in season 1. The nostalgia is crazy. I feel like the plot lines kind of get a little bit confusing, a little bit convoluted. It doesn't hit as well as the first couple of seasons. If they would have stuck to the book series, it would have done so much better, or if they would have just stretched out the reveal for it to be Mona in the end, I think that could have been cool too, but it just, I don't know. I don't like the ending. I don't really like all the CeCe stuff. It was all done for shock value and not genuine and organic to the show, I feel. But let's jump into the holiday special. The town is snowy and very Christmassy. There's Christmas music playing in the background as we settle into this episode, which I really appreciated because, if anything, this episode does give me Christmas vibes for sure. The girls are walking down the street in Rosewood window shopping. Honestly, this scene did give me very nostalgic Christmas vibes. It's not often that we just see them lounging around, you know, just like having girl time together. And I feel like we deserved more of that in the show, but I do love these moments that we get where they're just chilling and they're just normal friends and not like, I mean, they do talk about some crazy stuff, I'm not gonna lie, but I could watch this on a loop. Spencer mentions that her and Toby are doing Christmas gestures rather than presents this year. It feels weird to celebrate since she is currently on trial for the death of Bethany Young. That whole plot line was insane. Insane in the membrane. I'm also not remembering this plot line super, super clearly. I don't remember how she got off. I don't know. But wasn't it found out that Melissa was the one that killed Bethany Young? Like, Mona hit her and then Melissa buried her, thinking that Spencer did it, like thinking that it was Allie. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Okay, I just looked it up. Bethany Young was hit on the head with a shovel by Mona, who thought it was Allison. Melissa buries Bethany, like I said, also thinking that it was Allison and also thinking that Spencer had done it. A year after Bethany's murder, she was found buried, and everyone thought it was Allison because Allison has been missing and it was in Allison's backyard. This is revealed to the public in season 5, which is the season that this Christmas episode is happening in. Spencer is a suspect in this crime, although I'm not sure why. Was A framing her? Guys, this is so confusing. Mona is trying to connect the death to Allison, and Spencer gets off because there's evidence that Allison might be framing her for killing Bethany. And Mona disappears after investigating in this, and it's suspected that A killed Mona and they're suspecting that Allie killed Mona too. So that's why they think Allie is A? I think this is around the time when I started watching the TV show as it was airing rather than watching it on Netflix and rewatching, so it is a lot fuzzier. So Spencer says we're doing Christmas gestures this year, and Hanna goes,
Like the clowns?
speaking of court gestures, jesters, not gestures, jesters. She's actually so funny, and this is why she's one of my favorite characters. Like, she just, I don't know, Ashley Benson just says these lines so naturally, and without the humor, the show would be too scary and too outlandish. It's kind of grounding. I heard so many people saying that they were afraid of Pretty Little Liars, like it was so spooky to them when they were younger, and I think that's so funny. But anyway, when I first watched this show, this might be an unpopular opinion, but Aria was my favorite liar. I don't know why, she just was. And then Hanna started to grow on me more and more, but then I hate when she gets all like bitter and weird and angry. Not my favorite Hanna. So walking up and down the street, Hanna is remembering her friendship with Mona. Her and Mona were walking up this street, went up to the same window, and made a wish. Their wish is that they would be friends forever. My heart. Like, Mona is so shady, but at the end of the day, Mona and Hanna's friendship was very interesting, and it was very sweet. It just obviously gets so tainted by everything that happens, and I think the, like, multiple personality thing was a little bit much. And in this memory, they were also laughing about stealing Jimmy Choo's because it's actually fucking iconic how much they shoplifted. But then in the moment, Emily's like, we should make a wish, which obviously is triggering to Hanna. Out loud, Hanna says, wishes don't come true. If they did, people wouldn't die. Which I think is crazy, okay? The correlation between wishes aren't real because people die is a bit random, but okay. Also, mood crusher. We're trying to have a holly jolly time right now, okay? Emily says that she is still holding out hope, and then Spencer responds with, hope is a dirty four-letter word. Okay, Spencer. Okay, hope breeds eternal misery. Okay, girl. She always has to say some shit like that. And fucking Emily is the only the only positive one ever. Like, my girl is getting pummeled left and right. She cannot have a happy moment, no matter what. They're talking about how Allison is throwing the ice ball, and they're not happy about it.
Yeah, well, I'd rather dance on dead monkeys than go to Allie's stupid ice ball.
Dead monkeys?
I can't remember what was happening in this season. Like, they don't like Allie, but why? Why don't they like Allie at this point? Because when Allie came back, they were friends with her, right? And then what? They found out that she was a liar? Like, I don't quite remember. So please comment down below, like, the context of that. I obviously didn't have time to, like, rewatch the whole season. And also, it's not on Netflix anymore. Even if I wanted to watch it, like, when I did my Halloween videos, I had to buy the episodes on YouTube, and I happen to have like this script that I wrote last year that I didn't end up making a video on. So like, I watched some clips here and there, and it does give me the Christmassy spirit, and it is fun to watch, but I didn't even like get to watch the whole episode start to finish this year. Okay, so this is what I can find on the Allie situation so far. Allison finally comes back into town in season 5, that's this season. Emily convinces her to go to the police, and she talks to Holbrook, and she says, no, I didn't like go missing, I was kidnapped for the last 2 years. Allie keeps putting off this medical exam that she has to do and asks Hanna to go with her. They also find out later that she kind of hired this guy, Cyrus, who was the one that gave her this cut on her leg, but she pretends that he was the one that kidnapped her, even though nobody actually kidnapped her. He was just a pawn in her game. She also fights with Mona and slaps Mona in the face, and the girls are like, okay, maybe Mona deserves it, but you're still lying to us about this whole situation. They start getting A messages again, and Allie is getting the messages, but she finds out the episode before the Christmas episode that the girls think that she is A because they don't trust her. She keeps lying to them, even though they saved her and brought her home and everything. They're also reflecting on the fact that Mona's body is missing. So this is what has fueled all of like the thoughts that Hanna is having of missing Mona and such. I will literally never forget the scene where they find Mona's body. Like, that was a good plot twist that they did in the later seasons. That shit was fucking good, and I will stand by that. Then some guy comes up to Hanna, and he says, 30 days after Mona's death, he was to deliver an envelope to her, which is very weird because she's just on the street in Rosewood. It's not like she was at home or something where he would know to find her. Also, just to let you know, this is the establishing scene for the video, and we are only 2 minutes and 35 seconds into the episode, and all of the we've been talking for 14 minutes. So Hanna opens the envelope, and inside there are drawings of Allie's house and hiding spots. And we know from flashback episodes that Allie did used to hide a lot of stuff in her house. There's also a letter that says that Allie is still playing the game, and Hanna has to keep looking.
She's still playing the game, and I'm talking to you from the grave. But I went out fighting, and that's what you need to do. Promise me you won't give up, Hanna. You have to keep looking. Kisses. M.
So it's clear that they think that Allie is A, that Allie killed Bethany, like something fishy is going on here. Then a guy in a Santa costume comes up to them ringing a bell. Aria buys a snow globe from him. When she looks at the snow globe, there is a picture of all of the girls inside of it. Hello. Inside is an A message. A takes a holiday. You should too. Okay, does that mean no A in this episode? Wrong. Also, this is the least threatening A message I've ever heard. Like, what does this mean? What's going on? Let me know. Also, I really want to know how they picked the right snow globe. Like, there were multiple snow globes. Did A pay this guy to specifically give them that snow globe? Did this guy know that this snow globe was tampered with? Is he A? What's happening? Confused. He did not even say a single word to them. So, I have my snowman mug. I love this mug because it's fucking huge. Whenever I film with it, like, I am right-handed, and this is, like, for a left-handed person, so I can never show the face. Now we cut to the next scene, and it is Allie alone in her room. She's looking all depressed. I'm pretty sure her room hasn't changed since she was a teenager. Wait, is she still a teenager? You guys, I'm so confused about this timeline. I need to do a refresher because when Allie comes back, just like subconsciously, I feel like they are so much older, but it hasn't been that long, has it? I don't know. I really should have refreshed my brain before I filmed this video, but we're just chilling. Okay, so this is before their graduation, which means they gotta be like 18. When the show starts, they are 16. They're not 19 yet because they haven't graduated. So I'm pretty sure they're 18 at this point, which makes them legal adults. But they're still teenagers, okay? I'm pretty sure they're 23 after the time jump, even though they act way older than that, in my opinion. I'm 24, and I am not even a little put together. So I am at some point going to do a full deep dive on the entire book series, but it's going to take me a while to write that script. So, and I feel like in general, I just know the book series better than I know the TV show. Like, ask me any questions from the book series, I'll answer it. TV show, you're gonna have to help me out. Then her dead mom, starts banging on the door. It's super scary. She comes in super ominously. She says,
She's got a lot to show you.
this is low-key like, well, obviously it's like a Scrooge thing, you know, but it's kind of like Halloween-y. So the Scrooge spoof takes place, and it's actually Mona, who's also dead, as the ghost of Christmas's past. And then we have the most iconic Pretty Little Liars intro ever. I mean, there's a rainbow filter on the intro, there's snow added in, there's red and green nail polish on the dead body, you hear ho 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 in the background. It's just fabulous all around. Allie wakes up in Christmas past. She sees her young self playing the piano. Dead Mona shows up looking absolutely fabulous. She's in all black and white. She has this crazy hair happening. She says, wait for it, which if you remember is actually a classic Allie reference. Wait for it, wait for it.
Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it.
Together, they're watching young Allie playing the piano, but she can't play certain keys for some reason. Something's in the piano. She opens up the piano, and there's 2 Christmas wrapped gifts inside. Inside the boxes are 2 identical yellow dresses. Iconic yellow dresses, hello? Or I mean like the iconic yellow top, so this is just like an Allie reference. Her mom comes in and she asks her mom, did you and daddy get me the same dress? Because she's confused of why there's 2 of the same dress. Jessica De Laurentiis then says,
You only saw one dress. You found the present. One present.
hello? What? Over and over again she says this until Allie repeats it back to her. This poor child. I think it's interesting how every time we saw flashbacks in the first little bit of the series between Allie and her mom, it kind of made it seem like Allie was this terrible child that was so horribly behaved, like that one moment where she held her breath until her mom gave in. But then you think about how she grew up and like all these secret siblings and like all these secrets and just like how weird her mom was and like her mom as a twin and just like all this shit. Like no wonder she turned out that way. Young Allie asks, "Why, mommy?" And she responds, "Because I don't want daddy to leave us." Are you fucked right now? Dude, saying that to a child is barbaric. If he knows about the dress, he will leave us. So dad is not on board with this whole Bethany Young thing, because we can assume that the dress is for Bethany Young, unless it's for CeCe, but I think it was for Bethany Young, right? I would also love a refresher on like the Bethany Young timeline and the CeCe timeline, because it was like such a secret that CeCe was in the hospital for however long, and then it was like such a secret that she was taking care of Bethany Young. Who even is Bethany Young? Dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm the one filming this video. Like, hello. I might have to like insert some clips here and there of me answering my own questions. Bethany Young was a 17-year-old Bradley patient that was murdered the night of Allison's disappearance. We know this already. A year later, her body was discovered and incorrectly identified as Allie. We know this. She was hit on the head by Mona. We know this. We know this, we know this, we know this. While in Radley, Bethany befriended Charlotte, who is CeCe. She was supportive of Charlotte as a transgender girl and kept her secret, so they were friends in Radley. One night, Charlotte and Bethany snuck onto the roof of Radley. Charlotte was wearing a yellow dress, which Bethany complimented her on. Moments later, Marion Kavanaugh, who is Toby's mother, walked onto the roof. Charlotte asked Bethany for help, as the fallout of Marion seeing her in a dress wouldn't be good. Bethany agreed and went to speak with Marion. Moments later, Bethany pushed Marion off the roof, which killed her. I'm reading this on the Pretty Little Liars wiki page, by the way. A shocked Charlotte asked Bethany what she had done, and Bethany turned on her and blamed her for pushing Marion. She called her a freak, and when questioned by the employees, lied and said that Charlotte pushed Marion. Charlotte was then incorrectly diagnosed with an explosive disorder. She was later introduced to Jessica De Laurentiis, who at the time was on the board of the sanitarium. Jessica often took her out on day trips. On one occasion, she took her to a stable. I remember that whole like horse side plot. This is where Jessica purchased Bethany a horse named Custard. Afterward, Bethany discovered that Jessica was having an affair with her father and that Custard was a hush present. Bethany was outraged and drew Jessica with devil horns, and then Charlotte heard about Bethany's obsession with Jessica. This story is even more intertwined than I thought it was, to be honest. On September 1st, 2009, which is the day that everyone thought Allie died, Bethany stole Charlotte's clothes and snuck out of Radley under Charlotte's identity. Okay, wait, so maybe the yellow dress from this flashback was for CeCe, because clearly we know that Jessica would give CeCe duplicates of Allison's clothing. Bethany just stole it? She wanted to hurt Jessica because of her affair with her dad, made it to the De Laurentiis' backyard, was spotted by Mona Vanderwall, and we know what happens after that. Okay, honestly, that was good, because I did not remember, like, most of that stuff. Young Allie says, "I'll do whatever you want." I thought this scene was just, like, really disturbing and chilling. And this is also very clear about, like, everything I said about Allie's upbringing when Mona says, "And the monster was born." Allie asks her if the dress was for Bethany, and Mona says, "It's not gonna be that easy, bitch." Mwah! Chef's kiss. Beautiful. More, please. In the next scene, Spencer and Toby are in her room. She's saying that she thinks she's going to jail. Spencer is changing in her closet like she always does. She's always changing in her closet with, like, other people in the room. She says, "It might be my last Christmas." Then she surprises Toby, who's in a wheelchair at this point. Not gonna lie, I also don't remember why he's in a wheelchair. So nothing too crazy happened. He was literally just in a car accident, but you can tell me if that was like A, doing that. Apparently he was leaving Radley. I think this tripped me up because I remember him falling off a ladder earlier on in the series, and I don't think he was he in the hospital? Oh my god. In season 2, he falls off scaffolding, which I'm pretty sure A did do that. She is in a slutty little Mrs. Claus outfit with black heels. Troyan, the woman you are. She also says, Merry ho ho,
Mary Ho Ho.
which for whatever reason, every time I hear someone says this, it pisses me off. I hate it. I don't like it. Take it away. He responds with, nice gesture, which was very, very cute, and I enjoyed that. In the next scene, Hanna is dressed up as an elf. She says Merry Christmas in sign language to one of the children, which I thought was very, very sweet. She is like volunteering right now with a bunch of kids at a church, I think. Then she says that she learned this because at fat camp her bunkmate was deaf. So, cute moment undercut by a funny moment. Caleb is also there, dressed up as an elf as well. There's also a girl there that is basically Allie's mini-me. She's very bitchy, very mean. And Caleb explains that she called him Dum Dum, which always reminds me of Night at the Museum, you know? Such a good movie. Dum Dum, give me my gum gum. I need to rewatch that. We then pan over to that girl who's saying that the deaf girl can't hear them, so their friends can call her whatever they want. Nice. Hanna goes up to her and says, you mess with Claire, you mess with me. The girl responds with, I'm shaking. And then in response to that, Hanna says,
And in Rosewood, bitches get buried.
was that not an A message? Bitches get buried? I swear it was. Iconic for her to reuse that. Absolutely iconic. And it was even more iconic if that's something that Mona said, because she's been missing Mona in this episode. Okay, I looked it up and I cannot confirm that this was an actual A message that the girls got. I could be wrong. I can't find it anywhere. But I might just be thinking of the fact that there's lots of A messages saying stuff about burying the girls. So maybe that's why my brain correlated with it, but let me know if I'm wrong. Some people might think that this is a little bit too intense for a kid, but let's remember that this is Hanna we're talking about, and also this bitch had it coming. She's giving Allie way too much Allie, and she needs to be stopped. That girl then tells the rest of the girls to leave, but Hanna says that they don't need a leader and that they can stay. So obviously she's trying to break this cycle. Like the whole the friendship with Allie is very interesting, right? Because they've been so on and off as friends. We know that they all make up in the end, but for so long their friendship with Allie was so toxic because all they wanted was a leader and they wanted Allie to love them, and they felt like Allie was the one that brought them together, so they owed something to her. And she knows that it was never healthy, so she doesn't want these kids to go through it as well. But it doesn't mean that some parts of the friendship weren't genuine, because some parts still survive, if that makes sense. I don't know. These girls do decide to stay, and the one girl calls them losers and leaves on her own. And again, I think this was super cool to see and for it to go that way, because it's kind of like she was able to rewrite history, and it's probably a bit of a healing moment for her as well. And in my opinion, it almost signifies like kind of the bitchy part of Allie dying, because even when she first comes back, she is like traumatized or whatever, but she's still kind of like herself, and it just gets worse and worse, and in my opinion they ruined her character. But putting an end to this could also kind of show that this toxic cycle is ending because Allie becomes a changed person. But in the moment, she tells Caleb that people don't change, they just get better at hiding it. Hanna is seriously on something, because what? What? Obviously, they're talking about Allie here. I don't necessarily think this is true because, like I said, they ruin Allie's character by making her too nice. But I do think it reflects how Hanna is viewing Allie at this time. Like, they think that Allie was pretending to change, but she's been really secretive and like lying to them this whole time, is what was happening. So I guess it is a pretty good line to sum all that up. Now we cut to Ezra and Aria. Obviously, they are such a problematic couple. I can't believe they made it this far. I can't believe they got married at the end of the show. But I totally shipped them in season 1 and 2. When I was young and impressionable, I loved them. I loved them. And now I cannot stand Ezra. I was reading him to fucking filth in my Halloween episode because he was just always around, always showing up last minute. But if they would have followed the books a little bit more closely, it wouldn't have gotten this far. It wouldn't have gotten this bad. He was kind of a loser in the book series, and you know, they break up, he comes back, and you're like, ew, who is this? Like, the illusion was dead. The illusion was only an illusion for a little bit. It seemed fun at first, then we got his true colors, and that was the end of that, and then she started dating people her own age. Ezra gives Aria the craziest earrings, because he's a grown man with grown man money, and a dress, but they don't show the dress until she shows up at the snowball ball? Snowball. the snowball. Or is it snowflake ball? I don't remember. She jokes that they were supposed to keep it low key and that she's really afraid to see what full on Christmas is like at the Fitzgerald house. He jokes it's like, how many ponies can you get? And then admits that it's true because he did get 2 ponies, but he only asked for 1. At school, Sydney says Merry Christmas to Emily, who's like, did Jenna tell you to talk to me? This whole Sydney fiasco I don't understand either. What was her literal purpose in this show? I don't know. Okay, let's do a deep dive on Sydney. It's revealed that Sydney is part of Mona Vanderwaal's army along with Jenna Marshall. And then in How the Ace Stole Christmas, it's revealed that Sydney along with Jenna are part of Allison's new group of followers. In season 7, Alex reveals that Sydney was a one-off as she found out about her stealing from the bank she worked for, and Sydney fit the hoodie for her plan against Aria. Literally, there was no point in this woman. It could have been any person. Like, I think it was just supposed to be a red herring to make, like, someone else seem suspicious and have somebody for Jenna to hang out with, genuinely. Sydney says that Jenna is not a bad person. Ali just convinced her that she was. Okay, maybe a little real. Maybe a little real. Jenna had it pretty rough, but ugh, I always forget that Jenna is the one that fucked with Toby rather than the other way around, because it's the other way around in the series. I have a whole video up on Toby if you want more info on that, and one coming soon about the Jenna thing in the book series. Paige gets a suspicious phone call. I hate Paige, let's not talk about it. And then admits to Emily that her parents want her to go to California after Christmas. And then they kiss under the mistletoe, which I guess is cute. They do have cute moments. Next, we jump to the snowball. And look, I'm holding my mug so that you can actually see it in all its cuteness glory. I do have a very special place in my heart for any Rosewood event where they dress up like it's the royal fucking wedding. I love to see it. They're also wearing the most beautiful silver dresses, super iconic. They all are so hot. Like, I can't even. Don't even get me started. Lucas is dressed up like Santa, and Spencer goes to sit on his lap. He says that she's been a very good girl this year.
You've been a very good girl this year. Santa won't let you down.
Lucas.
Which is kind of creepy in my opinion. And then he says that something is happening tonight, and that Paige is building an army. So we know something is about to go down because Lucas and Paige are on the same page. I also just really want you to know that fight song is playing as Ali comes down the staircase with a bunch of other girls in masks. Fight song triggers my fucking fight or flight. I love the message of the song. Don't fight me. I just don't like fight song. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so on Allison's side are Jenna and Sydney, or like so she thinks, and then the other 2 people in masks are twins named Cindy and Mindy. I totally forgot that they were a thing. So they're twins, which is so interesting because of this whole twin thing that keeps getting repeated throughout the series. Before Allison's disappearance, Allison relentlessly bullied them, referring to them as gayrons. Okay. First they were on Mona's side, then they switched forces and went to Allison's side, and I don't know what happened to them after that. Allison also does this whole, like, making them fashionable for the Christmas ball or whatever. So even though I went on this whole rant about how Allison ends up being way too nice, she's still evil at this point. Like, whether or not whether or not she killed Bethany, which we know she didn't do either of those things, I don't really understand what her end goal is here, what is happening, like why she's acting so shady, but she is definitely still a mean girl at this point. I also say later on, these random twins, I'm like, who are these random twins? Cindy and Mindy, so I cleared that up, but later you're gonna hear me be like, who are these twins? The girls are acting like something is about to go down, and Caleb tells Hanna to be careful, which, surprise, surprise, is Caleb's favorite line to say to Hanna ever. When you actually sit down and analyze these characters, you can see like how predictable their dialogue is and how they always say the same thing over and over and over again. We see that somebody is walking around with a white hood on, but we don't see who they are. Ali is making out with somebody in a Santa costume behind a curtain, but we don't see who it is at first. I don't know why they kept it so secretive though, because it's literally revealed a minute later. Aria says to Emily that Ali was kissing Santa Claus, which I thought was pretty cute. And like I said, 5 seconds later, we find out that it was Detective Holbrook. I remember this happening, but it's also the same guy that Hanna kissed at one point. I thought at the time when that happened, he said it was inappropriate, so I don't know why he's kissing Allie now. I doubt that much time has passed, but no one in Rosewood has any problems dating high school girls, apparently. Maybe because they look 30. Okay, so all I could find online about this Holbrook situation is that basically he became super obsessed with Allie when Allie came back into town and he was like on her kidnapping case or whatever. He just became super obsessed with her, super intrigued by her because she had like all of these people wrapped around her finger. She's super mysterious, like she's kind of famous in this town, and just wanted to be with her. Like he literally started dating her and ended up losing his job and then left town after that. Like this man is a police officer. When it came to Hanna, it was like, no, this is too weird. Like, I can't do it. And then all of a sudden, Allie comes into town and he's like, I need to have you. I need to have you. Like, I'm gonna do shady shit for you. Like, for why? For what? Like, what was the point? I don't, like, I just feel like they do the most random shit in this show with, like, no explanation. And if there is an explanation, the explanation just doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, he just did it because he wanted to. Like, stop it. Stop it. Then we finally get to see what Spencer and Hanna were up to. Because they have just broken into Allie's house. Yes, they've broken into Allie's house. I do really love the creepy vibes in this part of the episode, but I think we're also missing out on some lightheartedness, considering it's a Christmas episode. It does feel a little bit dark and heavy. When we cut back to the ball, Holbrook is telling Aria that Ezra has good taste as he's looking at Aria's dress. Okay. What's this guy's deal? He's fucking seeming creepy as fuck right now. I seriously have no idea how he knew that Ezra even picked out that dress. I could find no explanation online for why he knew that Ezra picked out this dress for her, but I did run into a Reddit post. By the way, Reddit is like my best friend other than the wiki page for figuring out all this information. I did run into a Reddit page talking about how Holbrook knew. She was like, I'm gonna go talk to my boyfriend, and he was like, yeah, tell Ezra I like your dress. Like, he does not give a fuck about this age gap relationship, even though that he is a police officer, and this is genuinely a problem and also perplexing because it was such an issue when she wanted to date Ezra when she was 16, and it's like she turned 17 and they were like, okay, doesn't matter that you're still in high school. It doesn't matter that he's literally a teacher there. It doesn't matter that he dated you when you were underage. Like, we're chill with it now. God, I should do a whole video on this. There's also a maze of fake snow. There's always some sort of maze at these events. Fake snowy trees, I mean. And this is very crazy to me because, like, this is a high school event. Do you really want high schoolers, like, hiding in this maze? Like, they're gonna hook up, they're gonna do drugs, like, drink. What's happening? It's revealed that the White Hood is CeCe Drake, the one and only.
Merry Christmas, Allie.
CeCe and Allie are talking in this maze. CeCe and Jenna also come over, as well as some of the other girls that were in the masks. Sydney and Jenna kind of lead Emily away so that Allie doesn't see them talking. Jenna says, when I first moved to Rosewood, Allie offered to be my friend, which was true because we just talked about that in the Halloween episodes. I made the mistake of saying no. When she asked me this time, I gave her the right answer, which I kind of hate because I thought Jenna was such a bad bitch for saying no, and then Allie literally fucking blinded her. Sydney says, we're not the enemy. Emily says, you're just sleeping with the enemy. Sydney says,
I'm not gay, Emily. That's not what I meant.
Which is actually funny because she's never heard the saying sleeping with the enemy. Also, I did think that Sydney was gay, so I'm not really sure. Jenna says they're just trying to survive at this point. You guys, they're literally in high school. Too much is happening. But all of them think that Allie killed Mona. We then cut back to CeCe and Allison. CeCe is warning Allie about her ex-best friends, the four liars. Back at Allison's house, Hanna finds a passport that says Holly Varjak, and it's inside of a birdcage. Toby is also at Spencer's house watching them through the window because they're next door neighbors, like Spencer and Allie. Spencer is saying that Allie is rewriting her happy ending because Ezra told Allie that she is his Holly Golightly, and Paul Varjak in Breakfast at Tiffany's convinced Holly it was okay to be loved. So Allie is imagining them married. Again, what the fuck is happening? I need a refresher. Hanna says, how do you fit all that information in one head? Which is so true, because I couldn't even like compute that just trying to restate it out loud. I also love her so much. Spencer also finds out that Allie was talking to someone in the personal ads of the newspaper, just like she was talking to Mona when Mona was A. Back at the party, Emily thinks that Holbrook helped CeCe escape New York. Allie is leaving the party with White Hood, and Ezra goes to distract Holbrook. Emily and Aria follow Allie and White Hood to try to catch them because they're trying to figure out who is White Hood. So the audience is actually in on this, and they're not. Paige and Lucas block them on the other side, remember? They're teammates. But when they turn around, it's just two people wearing Allie masks, and it's not even Allie and CeCe at all. They slowly take off the masks, and it's a random set of twins. Hello? Not CeCe and Allie. Again, with all of the twins, I do want to do, like, I gotta rewatch the whole series and just keep a list of all of the mentions of twins, because that's like, they'll do anything except have an actual twin reveal like they did in the book series, I swear. Back at Allie's house, Hanna unlocks a trunk. There's an archery award in there. There's so much junk in Allie's house, too. Also, a tape recording of Allie's voice of her saying, "Get out of my stuff or I'll kill you," which is like a joke, but you know. I thought it was funny, but definitely very creepy, especially if Allie had remained dead. But she did not. Caleb calls Toby and says that Allie might be on her way home because she just left the party, and that he's calling him because Hanna isn't answering her phone. This is when Toby, who's looking through the window to Allie's house, sees somebody in a black hoodie in the house with a big knife. Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's get into that. Spencer is hiding behind a table by the couch. Hanna is still unaware that this is happening upstairs. I swear this moment just had me screaming at the screen, like, so frustrated that Hanna is so unaware of her surroundings while being in a creepy attic. Hanna is ripping through wallpaper and finds a jack-in-the-box, which pops out and scares her. It says Mad Hatter on it, and then we pan to a stack of hat boxes. Kind of confused about that, like, that's the hint, Mad Hatter, and so you assume it's the hat boxes, okay. Downstairs, Spencer grabs her phone, literally clangs it on the ground, and it kind of looks like this wasn't planned. I don't know if this was planned or not, or if like it was an accident like that Troyan did. I thought it was funny. She texts, "Get out of the house, A has a knife," to Hanna. And I think this was also really funny because she actually took the time to put quotation marks over A and add a period at the end of this sentence. And this is like a super high stakes moment we're having here. Like, don't worry about punctuation, girl. Get the message to her. Like, seriously. But would you expect any less from Spencer Hastings? I guess not. It's then that she sees Hanna's phone on the couch. Hanna doesn't even have her fucking phone up in the attic. You're joking. Toby then starts flashing lights at Hanna through the window, who is still oblivious and not paying attention to this. Hanna then sees that Allie had a letter from Bethany showing that she had invited her here for Labor Day, which is incriminating because Bethany died on Labor Day, not Allie. Hanna is speaking all of this out loud to herself, by the way, which I think is so funny because I noticed that she does this a lot, even in the first season, and nobody else is doing this. It's like you want to tell the audience something, but you just outright say, like, you're just speaking to yourself. I don't know.
And she invited her here for Labor Day.
It just feels like unnatural. Downstairs, Spencer breaks a picture frame to use it as a weapon, which I think is crazy because that had to be so loud. It would have been better just to go into the kitchen and grab a knife or something, or use some other object as a weapon, because you think the noise would alert the person in the house. Where she is, it's not that big of a house. Hanna is about to go downstairs when A, in a black hoodie, is waiting for her behind a door. She screams, and then it cuts back to Spencer. Spencer runs upstairs when she hears her scream, which is crazy because, like, just call the police. I don't know. Hanna is passed out on the floor. The window is open, and then Spencer says she's gone. I guess they're assuming that that was Allie. We then see a creepy doll mask watching them from behind a shelf, which is kind of like a good callback to when Mona was watching them through the walls of the motel. We then cut to everybody at Spencer's house. Abrupt shift. Complete vibe change, but I'm happy for it because this scene is so beautiful and so cozy, and it's exactly what I think of when I think of the Christmas episode. It makes me really, really happy. They're all talking about the letter that they found in Allie's things. They say it could give reasonable doubt to clear Spencer's name for killing Bethany Young, because Allie told Bethany to come into town, obviously. So we do have a little happy ending here, at least for this episode. I don't remember what happens after. It's also Christmas Eve, if that's not obvious. Where are their parents? I'm not sure. I don't remember. Now we cut back to Allie waking up and Mona is there. And I feel like we did not spend enough time on the whole Scrooge thing. Like, I think we could have just taken out all of the Allie stuff at the ball because it didn't do too much, and we could have just focused on Allie's part in this episode being her flashbacks, but whatever. I didn't write the episode. It was just like a weird gap because I almost forgot that this was an element of the episode. It's just like, I guess, sandwiching the rest of the stuff in between. Mona is singing Hark the Herald Angels Sing. I love when she sings. It's so creepy. She did that in the Ghost Train episode too, the Halloween one. Season 3, I believe. Allie is now in the church and she sees herself in a casket. Allie asks when. As in, when is she going to die? Like, she's thinking that this is like the future, like this is absolutely about to happen. I will note that she also does look very young in the casket, so I don't know if this was supposed to foreshadow like an early death, and maybe she's freaking out because she's like, oh, this is gonna happen soon. Mona asks, does it matter? Allie says, it does to me. Mona says, and only you. Shots fucking fired, bitch. And also, they never found your legs. Which we know isn't actually true because that doesn't happen. But that's crazy. And I think that clears it up that it's not supposed to really be a foreshadowing of events and just like said for shock value. We then see a woman in a black veil, which turns out to be her mom. And I really, really like this element because it calls back to the black veil in season 1, which was that her mom? No. Who was Black Veil in season 1? Sara Harvey? Fuck, I don't remember. I have to look that up. Yes, Black Veil was in fact Sara Harvey. I guess she went to Darren Wilden's funeral to confirm that he was dead. For some reason, I thought there was a Black Veil in literal season 1 at Allie's funeral, but I guess not. I'm just getting mixed up at this point. I don't know though why Allie's mom is portrayed wearing the black veil in this like fake dream-like Christmas special. If you have the answer to that, you can let me know. Thank you. Her mom says, they'll be coming for you soon. Not one maternal bone in this woman, I swear. And then Allie says, am I going to hell? Which, like, regardless of how you feel about her in this episode, maybe you think that she's A or she's doing something suspicious, it shows that she feels guilty, that she knows either what she's doing now isn't good or the things that she's done in the past isn't good, and that she does have a heart, and it's like showing her progression a little bit. Shadows all go around the church, and she starts screaming and asking to be let out. Back at Spencer's house, there is a snowstorm, so the girls can't go home to their families, and I guess that's why they spend Christmas Eve there. My question has been answered. They're all going to be spending Christmas together this year. Don't know where Spencer's parents are, though. Then we have the most iconic scene in Pretty Little Liars history. Yeah, I've said it. All these significant others show up on the staircase in their underwear. I just need to know how this happened. Like, nobody heard them coming. Nobody knew where they were. This is Toby's gesture, though. I love how both of their gestures were, like, just dressing slutty. Like, okay, real. They're all, like, literally facing the stairs, so I don't know how this was, like, surprising to them, but whatever. Nobody saw them, like, assembling themselves. Spencer says, now that's a gesture. Now we have a happy Christmas cooking montage. We find out that Paige might be moving to California. Good riddance. I fear that I don't want to give too much Paige slander since I learned that this had a negative effect on the actor who played her. I listened to the Pretty Little Liars podcast that was happening that got canceled. Anyway, her parents don't think Rosewood is safe anymore. Girl, it never was. Understood. And then they all sit around and have Christmas dinner. Just a quick side note though, but how weird is it that they're old high school English teachers just casually having Christmas dinner with them? Like, they're all young. Like, what is happening? Not to mention the fact that he was literally just half naked on a staircase with them. Okay. They're still in high school, are they not? Yes, they are. They haven't even graduated yet. Allie is also watching them really creepily from outside the window. I think this makes it really clear that she's not A, because if she was A, she would be watching as A, but she's not watching as A, she's watching as herself. And it's honestly kind of sad because she's so left out. I have a soft spot for her, I don't know what to say. They all hear some bells and dust comes in from the chimney. Hanna exclaims, Santa? which was super cute. I love her. Has she done anything but been comedic relief in this episode? No. They all go outside and there's a pretty tree. They're all smiling at each other. Everything is wonderful and beautiful. Why am I building this up? Nobody knows who did it. And then a sign lights up. Merry Christmas, bitches. Hey. Again, not threatening. Merry Christmas! Happy holidays! Spencer's obviously the one that reads it out loud. Hanna is hugging Caleb dramatically. There's some really suspenseful Christmas music happening in the background. And that is where we leave the holiday special of Pretty Little Liars. I wish there was more holiday specials, but I thoroughly enjoyed this one, even though it's not really the greatest episode, but the vibes were good. Perfect little spooky holiday combo happening here. You can check out my Pretty Little Liars reading vlog that I posted maybe a year ago now. Also my Toby Kavanaugh video. I came out with a Twilight reading vlog, rereading vlog. I'm going to be doing New Moon Eclipse and Breaking Dawn and Midnight Sun in October, am I okay? January, and like as the new year goes on, I'm going to try to post every 2 weeks. And then I'm going to be doing lots of Pretty Little Liars book content like the Jenna thing, the twin theory, Mona as A, Hanna and Lucas's relationship, lots of fun stuff coming out. I'm also going to be doing a Time Traveler's Wife video, so please subscribe if you want to see any of that. I'm having so much fun. Somebody requested that I read the Hunger Games series next, so I'm going to be doing that, and we're going to be reading Gossip Girl for the very first time, probably in the summer, so I hope you stay tuned for all of that. If you're interested in finding the Pretty Little Liars books, go to my bookshop.org page. I have everything listed. I also have all the other books that I read listed, so it's a fun place there. If you would love to support me, I would love that very much. I will also be posting a discussion of the Pretty Little Liars Halloween, am I okay? Christmas book, the Christmas book. I'm going to be talking about the Christmas book in another episode, in another video. Guys, okay, I need to chill. Okay, love you so much. Merry Christmas. I'll see you next time. Bye.